Hey guys, welcome to another Lost Ark video. The Virtue Stat system is a very important mechanic in Lost Ark. Without them, you won't be able to access certain Makoko seeds, progress in some quests, and without raising them enough, you won't even be able to talk to certain NPCs. Early to mid-game, you won't have a lot of reason to interact with your Virtue Stats page on your character paper doll, so a lot of people tend to overlook them, or even ignore them completely. But later, when you start to focus more on your character's completionism progress, they will become very important, and in some cases be a source of regret in that you did not start working on them sooner. Your current virtues, including wisdom, courage, charisma, and kindness, are located on the second tab of your paper doll, so it is important for you to start checking these and thinking about these early on. The best way, as always, for finding where to get these will be to check your in-game codex, but I will briefly go over a few of the easier ones you can get early game to help raise them sooner rather than later. The first thing you will likely encounter in-game that will affect your virtue stats will be your skins. There are skins that offer you a mixture of balanced virtues spread across the pieces, as well as skins that go all in, pushing a single virtue stat a great deal. So it is important as you play to try to collect these skins or pieces of them and have them banked for occasions when you are short in a certain virtue that may be gating your rapport progression or blocking you in a quest. So you can see these skins are not only to make your appearance more pleasing, but do in fact also provide a function, and an important one. The second source of virtue stats, and arguably the best source, will be provided by your adventure tomes. As you work on them, they will provide you with permanent virtue points for completing things like your field bosses, another stories, hidden story completions, vistas, cooking, and eating foods. Also, every aspect as you go. On top of that, you will then also be awarded virtue potions that offer plus 10 in a specific virtue for hitting thresholds of completion in your adventure tomes. For wisdom, you will receive a potion at 20% completion of the Roandel Adventure Tome, 20% completion of the A13 Adventure Tome, and 40% completion of the Udia Adventure Tome. For courage, you will receive a potion at 40% completion of the West Latura Adventure Tome, 20% completion of the Cheshire Adventure Tome, and 20% completion of the Phaeton Adventure Tome. For charisma, you will receive a potion at 50% completion of the Rethramus Adventure Tome, and 40% completion of the Tortoik Adventure Tome. For kindness, you will receive a potion at 30% completion of the East Latur Adventure Tome. So always pay attention to your adventure tomes and try to keep completing aspects of them when you find yourself between dungeons, as you may regret not having them done later and letting them build up. Quests, of course, are also a valuable resource in terms of getting your virtue potions to increase your virtue points. As well, you will be rewarded virtue stats from the completion of random quests as you go throughout your journey. It is impossible for me to list all of the quests that give you virtue stats in this video of this type, so my best advice would be to just try to complete everything you encounter as you go through an area. Rushing and skipping quests may be faster, but you will be missing out on these valuable points along the way which you will need later on. You will also receive virtue points as reputation rewards as you complete certain Una's daily missions. This is why it becomes very important to have alts, because you are limited per day on how many Una's tasks you can complete, but the rewards like virtue potions are account-wide. So completing these Una tasks on multiple characters each day will allow you to do more Una's tasks per day. Obviously, you can't complete these same quests on multiple characters. What I mean is, instead of having to choose 3 only, you can now complete all of them across your account each day. These will include, for wisdom, 15 days of the Vernice Forest Una's tasks Fairy's Friend, 7 days of the Una's task Anxious Mind, 15 days of the Una's task Topia Tutor for a day. For courage, you will need 7 days completion of Die 100 Deaths, 7 days completion of Caden Cathedral's Exorcism Ritual, 10 days completion of Playing by Pirates Rules, 10 days completion of the Guest Prize Una's tasks. For charisma, you will need 15 days completion of Frozen Memories, 15 days of Runaways Island Una's tasks, and 15 days of Hope Island Una's tasks. For kindness, you will need 15 days of A Boy's Dream Done. You will need 30 days of Taking on Tuki. You will need 15 days of Android Emancipation. So you can see that if you had no alts, completing all of these would take months on your main only. So it is a good idea to have your alts ready to aid in completing these. The gathering of collection items will also be a good source of virtue stat potions. As you encounter giant hearts, Makoko seeds, or whatever, you will unlock virtue potions from various vendors for all of these items. Collecting things like 100 Makoko seeds or 2 giant hearts, as you can see, will make these available for you to collect from the vendors. So keep an eye out. Another amazing source of virtue potions will be, of course, Rapport, which makes sense because the primary function of the virtue points is to aid you in interacting with Rapport NPCs. So being awarded them for rapport-related activities only makes sense. As you advance in rapport with NPCs, you will unlock certain dialogue encounters with them. These will always reward you with rapport for free from the NPC, so it is important to always click these as you go. But in some cases, you will also be awarded virtue points along with the rapport. And as you progress in rapport, each NPC will offer you gifts for hitting certain thresholds, like friendly, trusted, and whatever. And many of these NPCs will offer virtue point potions as these gifts. And the final and least obvious way to receive a substantial portion of your virtue points you will need is from achievements. Many random achievements will offer you virtue points ranging from collecting 300 titles to mounting 6 different types of wolves. There are hundreds, and way too many for me to list. What I would recommend doing is going through your achievements and finding them all. I also have posted a list on my Discord, as well as a link to the Lost Ark Codex where you will find every single one, if completionism is very important to you to track. So although you may not have thought these virtue points were very important, they are, and you will need them to pass certain virtue progress checks in the game as you complete content. So it is important to keep them in mind and be aware where you currently are in terms of completing the things I listed. If you have any questions about anything I discussed in this video, or anything really, please feel free to comment or join our community Discord. And as always guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.